But I believe, as a man at least, your love only has value when you're capable, which is why perhaps I'm so obsessed with capability, because I want my love to have value. We talked about how time has value when you're at a certain echelon. I would also argue that love has value at a certain echelon. If I'm in love with a girl, she can get a lot more from that love than if a Joe Schmo's in love with her, right? So my love has value because I have value. So I have to build myself, and especially as a man, if you want to feel loved and you want to give love, the more capable you become, the more valuable your love's going to be, and that's certainly how we're going to fix the world. So yeah, the answer is love, of course, but it can't just be blind, empty love. It has to be love that is backed by a brutal, harsh capability, which is born in the worst scenarios you're going to endure as a man. And the world at its baseline is a very brutal place. It can be. And I think that becoming comfortable with those scenarios and becoming capable in those scenarios is how you give your love deep, true value. But I think that, yeah, love is the answer. Right, love is the answer. But I don't want to end, I don't want...
That's hard for you to say.
No.
It's like the Fonz.
No, yeah. love, but we have to make this clear, because most people misunderstand what love is.
I understand.
No, because you say love is the answer.
But not coming from you. I don't think they're going to misunderstand it coming from you. And I guess this is it. Like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is what people want more from you.
Yeah.
Right? They want your love. They want to feel your love. I see it.
Yep.
Right? Like, I can feel it coming off you, but I'm not, like, I see your sense of humor. I see how you work. So I don't feel threatened by you, right? I feel like I understand you in some way. But a lot of people can. And I think that to me is the problem in the world right now, is that people cannot feel the Father's love.
I agree with you. But
and if they could feel that, and also the firmness, also the direction, all the things you're talking about, the discipline, but if they can't feel the Father's love, I mean, that's God's love coming through. And the Father is the embodiment of God on earth. If they can't feel that love, then we're going to have a lot of fucking problems.
But that's super interesting, because they've hijacked the word love now, and they've confused the word love with tolerance and a complete lack of boundaries. And they're saying, if you're a loving person, you accept all this garbage. No, I disagree with that. You just said a very important thing. You said father's love. A father's love comes with tests and trials and tribulations. What does a dad even traditionally do for his son? Take him out there, push him in the pool, let him struggle a bit, get him out. Yeah. Put him on the bike, let him fall over, help him get up. Yeah. You have to go through the bad things to be rewarded and the bad things to learn. That's how a father typically loves. And a father also loves by saying no. No, you cannot do that. So you nailed it by how society needs a father's love. Completely true. And society has actually hijacked the word love and tried to convince you that you don't need the father's love. Perhaps you need this unconditional love, which is more like a mother's love, if you want to gender it, perhaps. Yeah. So it's unconditional. You can act without honor, you can act without courage, you can act without discipline, and you'll be loved anyway just because you exist. I don't believe that for myself. I believe if I remove all of my morality, I will not just be loved by default, not by my family, not by God, not by society. I don't believe that. And the people who do believe that, who think I should be loved just for existing, regardless of how I act and what I think, those are some of the most evil people on the planet. I truly believe. And they're also some of the most unsuccessful and unspectacular. And they're the people who are out here genuinely trying to change society in a direction which has never been tested, which I believe is going to lead down to the depths of hell, truly. I think it's evil. So yeah, I agree with you. Father's love is important, but love in and of itself has boundaries. Love is strict. Love is hard. Yes. Love is a hard emotion.
Fierce.
Love is fierce. Love is not an emotion of, oh, do whatever you want. It's the opposite. Love is, no, you have to do this. I believe love is a very hard, very strong emotion. And if I think of how, let's say I have two women, one I love, one I don't love, and I enjoy both of their company, I'm harder on the one I love. I expect more from her in terms of how she acts. I expect more from her in terms of how she speaks to me. I expect more from her in how she presents herself to the world. The more I love her, the more I expect of her, the more parameters I want to put on her in regards to how she should behave, because I love her. Love is a hard emotion. So yeah, love wins, but not in the way that people think love. They've hijacked the word love and convinced people that love means, oh, I tolerate everything. Right. That's not love.
I agree, and it goes back to this, what we were talking about with presence. I wonder, and I'm just having this thought now, that if we come all the way into presence, if we allow ourselves to be all the way here and feel everything that's here, that is actually the thing that we would feel, love. Like God, which is, you could say God is love. And maybe that's the scariest thing. That's the edge. Because if we're fully surrendered to that, like we're in that flow state, that is the disillusion of the ego, a letting go of all the things that we have, and we have to be in that place. And so maybe that to me is like, you know, if you want to defeat the Matrix, right? Like if you want to become Neo, I think that's what it is.
Interesting. And what I will do, and I will take away from this conversation, is I definitely have moments of presence. I mean, I'm human. I do have like a couple minutes where I sit and just look around and go, you know, life's not all that bad, of course. But I will perhaps try and dedicate a little bit more time. Maybe I can I'll see if I can allocate 3 minutes instead of 2 towards presence and see how that makes me feel overall. It's interesting that you said when you're present, you feel love. I actually completely agree with that. I can't think of a time I've been present and felt anything other than gratefulness. Just to look around and go, you know what? Yeah. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
In fact, even in jail that happened. Even in jail, I had moments of presence, and I looked around and go, this is not nearly as bad as like the media is saying it is, and the women on the phone are crying, and everyone's panicking. You know what? I'm not in a trench. I'm probably not going to get blown up. If a fire started, could I get through that steel door? If anyone could, it's me. I'm not on a submarine in World War II. There's no depth charges.
Yeah.
I'm not in a car crash.
Yeah.
It's fine. Cup of tea. It's fine. I did have those moments, right? So when you come to a moment, when you come to a moment of presence, even in a terrible scenario, it often ends up love. Yeah. You're right. And I certainly have felt them, and I certainly could do it. My rationale would be, my argument would be, does that make me more powerful? You're arguing it does, and maybe perhaps I need to try it. Whereas I would typically, up until this conversation, I would say, I don't have time for that. I have things to do.
Right.
So that's where it all comes down to. And then it comes down to, like I said earlier, am I here as a human to enjoy my experience as a human and enjoy being in this vessel and have as much fun as possible and be as present as possible? Or am I here to make the biggest impact I can possibly make and build a legacy? And of course, probably like most things in life, the answer is somewhere in between the two. It's probably some balance.
Yeah.
Perhaps I'm slightly out of balance, and that's why I am living the life I am. But I'm not unhappy with it. And if I was unhappy with it, it wouldn't change anything. But I actually do consider myself, I do genuinely consider myself one of, because I put no importance on emotion. And when I say that, I try and make people understand that when I say no importance, it doesn't affect how I act. So I don't see the point in talking about it, or I don't see the point in even acknowledging it, because it doesn't affect what I'm going to do for the day. So who cares, right? It doesn't matter if it's sunny or raining. If you're going to go to work, you're going to go to work. So why talk about the weather? So I don't put any importance on emotion. But I would actually call myself one of the happiest people on earth, not because I'm particularly happy, but because I'm just never sad. So if it's never dark, it must be light. If it's never cold, it must be hot. So when I will say I'm one of the happiest people on earth, and people think, oh, he's happy all the time. No, I'm just never sad.
Right.
Never. So if you're never sad, you're always happy. Another thing I'll actually argue, not getting out of this early, not getting out of this easy.
I thought I got away with a win there.
I would actually argue that
Why are you arguing? What are you arguing?
because maybe you won't disagree with me. Okay, I would also like to. I will just explain. When we're talking about how I've built my mental model and how I rationalize everything, one of the things I've done when I rationalize is I've changed the boundary of what I believe happy to be. So let's say happiness is this line on this table, right? Most people, this is the full spectrum of human emotion. This is absolute distraught because your parents just died. And this is extremely happy and giddish and you're laughing and jumping around like a child for whatever reason. Most people would probably put happy somewhere up here near the top. Whereas I've just changed that bar. And I've just said, unless I'm truly distraught, unless I'm actually at the point where I can barely speak, let's move happiness down to here. Unless I'm truly distraught and something really bad's happened to me, I've already passed the threshold. And I'm just a different level of happy. Now, the more I talk to you, the more I realize that a lot of what I've done are just simply semantic tricks. They're language tricks. I've changed language tricks. If I'm not absolutely distraught, I am some version of happy. Therefore, I'm the happiest man on earth because I'm always some level of happy. It's semantic tricks, but if it works, I mean, it could be a cheap language trick, but if the cheap language trick works, then it's more than a cheap language trick. So I've also changed what I believe happy to be. I think that there's probably 5 or 6 times in your adult life you're going to be unhappy, and the rest of the time you're just a different level of happy. Maybe less happy, more happy, but you're all at some point of happy. If you can speak, you're happy enough, because when you're truly upset, you can't even talk. That's what I believe.
Is that enough?
Is that all I have to say?
I will say this though, right? When it comes down to happiness, everybody know as a man, you shouldn't seek out happiness until you at a point of being happy. What I mean by the point of being happy, that means you've been disciplined for so long. You done reached every goal that you done had. Now you can finally be happy. I mean, that can be taking a week, 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't care. Taking it off just to enjoy your time, and you can come back to being disciplined. But I mean, what I mean by happy, that doesn't exactly mean letting everything you work for going downhill though. Because you can let everything go downhill just from taking 3, 4, 5 weeks off of what you was being disciplined in. That means that can go from eating well, that can go from posting videos every day, that can go from any type of thing like that. Discipline is when it's more like when you happy, you can become happy at doing something. Just like with Andrew Tate, he said he doesn't seek out happiness every day, which, you know what I'm saying, I don't. When I wake up in the morning, I don't seek out happiness. I just do what I'm supposed to be doing. I got a list of stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. I try to stay disciplined in it. Even if I don't do it strictly right then and there, at least I get to it. I got a night and a day routine. I got a list of things that I got to do every day as soon as I wake up. I might not do it strictly in the fashion, but or even if I don't wake up in time, I still get to it and still do my list. To where one day, this shit gonna pay off, and then I can slow down on how much I'm doing. I don't have to post as much. I can take a week or 2 off one day, but right now I have to grind. So you seek happiness too early, you're gonna be. If I see happiness right now, and I'll be like, man, I've been posting every single day. I can take a week off, and I ain't even got 10,000 subs yet. I could have had that momentum, and I just killed the momentum on YouTube. They seen what I was doing, and now I done lost it all. So it's really about the discipline. Okay, once you hit your goal, then you can take it off. But then your goal can't be so small that you already don't seek happiness and take your time off or whatever, stuff like that. But let's just keep going, though.
It's interesting, yeah, because
So here, you want me to tell you what I noticed?
Sure.
It is hard for you to stay present.
Yeah.
Right? Like you come present, and then you go to a thought, you go to an idea, and you talk, yeah. And it's very convincing, and it's very persuasive. Yeah. And you're asserting your worldview, your frame of reality, which, but like sometimes like I lose you there. Yeah. Like I'm like, where are you? Like there's words, but I can't feel you entirely.
I understand.
You know what I mean? And I want to like feel you more.
I understand.
You know what I mean?
I understand, but I don't think.
But just stay with that. Just stay in that. Like don't let your mind go. Just stay in the feeling. Yeah, don't go off with the thought.
So what am I feeling right now?
But just stay with me.
Okay.
Just stay with me and be present in the experience with no words and see what happens.
Sure.
Like something will change in how we relate to each other. Something will soften. Like if you let yourself soften and just be with me. Yeah. Right? Which is kind of a weird experience for two men to have. Yep. Right? But it's actually what children long for with their father. It's actually what we long for is deeper levels of connection. Yes. You just let yourself be here with me and just see what happens.
But then what are we going to talk about?
We don't have to talk about anything. Doesn't it feel good to feel another man? Like just to feel the strength, like without the words, without that layer of thought and dialogue and discussion. Come back.
I'm thinking.
Come back.
But
Don't think.
But I have to.
You don't have to. Just be here. This is the place you get to when you're fighting. It feels good.
It's true, but
doesn't it feel good?
Yes, but there's an action involved. Like I can feel everything about the person I'm fighting, whether it's good or bad. And I can feel if I've hurt them or not.
Feel me.
I don't get to punch you, my friend.
Yeah.
It's been good fun, and I feel like I've learned some things, and I feel like we need to do it again.
Absolutely.
Hey, if you like this video right here, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Also, follow me on Instagram at KM.Little with 2 E's. Also, I have a Patreon, and I also have a private community where I talk to y'all 2-3 hours every single day. It's in the link below, also with the Discord. So join the Discord.